Hi, my name is Professor Bran. Welcome to this journey through diplomacy and global affairs, careers, and international relations. Today we are going to study the chapter named Introduction to International Relations Careers. In this chapter, we'll explore how international relations studies the way states, organizations, and actors interact globally, guided by diplomacy and major IR theories. We'll also look at key institutions like the UN and WTO, India's role in the global arena, and the essential skills for careers in international engagement, especially from an economics perspective. What is international relations? International relations, IR, examines political, economic, and cultural exchanges between nations and other global actors. It looks at cooperation and conflict, power dynamics, and issues like climate change and trade. For economics students, IR connects directly to how global markets, supply chains, and investment flows work. It bridges disciplines, economics, political science, law, and history to understand complex international systems. This makes IR vital for analyzing global trade agreements, currency policies, and cross-border investments. Relevance of global affairs today. We live in an interconnected economy where global supply chains and trade agreements bind nations together. Transnational challenges like pandemics and terrorism require joint solutions. Digital transformation has created new diplomatic channels, but also cybersecurity risks. Power is shifting toward emerging economies and influential non-state actors. For economists, this means tracking not just GDP figures, but also geopolitical changes that impact trade, capital flows, and employment. History and evolution of diplomacy. Diplomacy has evolved over 4 eras. Ancient diplomacy with messengers and treaties like the Egyptian-Hittite peace treaty. Classical diplomacy after the Peace of Westphalia, introducing permanent embassies. Multilateral diplomacy with the League of Nations and later the UN. Modern diplomacy with digital platforms and economic diplomacy at its core. Understanding this timeline helps economists see how trade, war, and alliances shape the current economic world order. Key players in IR: 4 main categories: nation-states, international organizations, NGOs, and multinational corporations. Nation-states remain central as they set economic policies, regulate currencies, and control trade. International bodies like the WTO and IMF set rules and stabilize markets. NGOs influence humanitarian and development policy, while corporations shape trade flows and investment. Economists must analyze how all these actors interact in shaping global markets. Nation-states as economic actors. Nation-states hold sovereignty, manage currencies, and negotiate trade deals. They can impose sanctions, incentivize investments, or sign free trade agreements. For economics graduates, understanding state actions is key to predicting economic outcomes, whether it's a tariff war or a stimulus package. Major theories of IR. Realism. States act in self-interest, prioritizing power and security. Economically, this supports protectionism and relative gains. Liberalism believes in cooperation, free trade, and shared prosperity. Constructivism highlights the role of ideas, culture, and identity in shaping economic relations. Each theory helps economists interpret trade policies, investment trends, and alliances. Additional theories and economics. Marxism. Focus on inequality and exploitation in the global economy. Feminist theory studies gender impacts of economic policies. International political economy, IPE, directly links politics and economics, ideal for economics students. These perspectives broaden how we assess development policies, foreign aid, and financial markets. India's role in global affairs. India has evolved from non-aligned movement leadership to becoming the 5th largest economy. Its economic diplomacy focuses on trade partnerships, infrastructure projects abroad, and digital diplomacy. For economics students, India's G20 membership and FTA negotiations are prime case studies of economic influence in action. Global governance institutions. UN works on peace, development, and economic cooperation through agencies like UNCTAD. WTO regulates international trade worth $22 trillion annually. International Monetary Fund stabilizes economies and offers financial support. Economists often work in or with these organizations, providing policy analysis and economic forecasts. Other international and regional organizations. The World Bank funds development, OECD analyzes policies, and regional blocs like ASEAN promote integration. For economics students, these are potential employers and research sources for trade, development, and market data. Chuski, skills needed in IR careers: global awareness, negotiation, languages, economic analysis, communication, and problem solving are vital. Economics students bring strengths in quantitative analysis and policy evaluation, giving them an edge in IR roles. Economic skills valued in Indian rupees. Quantitative modeling, economic forecasting, trade impact assessments, and cost-benefit analyses are in high demand. This skill set enables graduates to work in trade policy, development economics, and financial risk analysis. A day in the life of a diplomat. From reviewing trade briefs in the morning to attending multilateral negotiations in the afternoon, diplomacy blends economic analysis with relationship building. Economics graduates might prepare investment reports, assess treaty impacts, or advise on fiscal policies. Career pathways. Options include government service, international organizations, private sector roles, research, and academia. Economists can work on trade compliance, political risk, or international development. Slide 15. Emerging trends in global careers. Digital diplomacy, economic security, climate negotiations, and public-private partnerships are growing fields. These trends create new intersections between economics and international relations. Preparing for an IR career. Study economics alongside political science, gain technical skills, and consider study abroad or international internships. Graduate degrees or certifications in trade and development can boost prospects. Gaining practical experience. Internships with ministries, think tanks, or international bodies, plus simulations like Model WTO, build both knowledge and networks. Starting salaries in IR careers. Salaries vary by sector, but government roles often add benefits like housing or foreign postings. Economics graduates in consulting or international finance can earn more early on. Key takeaways. IR is multidisciplinary, economic skills are highly valued, practical experience is essential, and career paths are diverse, from traditional diplomacy to digital governance.